But Angel Reese does not belong in this league. Angel Reese, this league is a paycheck for Angel Reese.
Recall all of the WNBA commentators who said that Angel Reese was superior to Caitlin Clark after she played 8 minutes, scored 4 points, and committed 3 turnovers. The statistics don't lie, and last night's performance in the unmatched league may be the most striking illustration to far of the widening gap between on-court skill and social media hype. However, this statistic is the most telling. Her side began winning when she was removed from the game.
Well, Angel Reese yesterday for her unrivaled team, the Rose Basketball Club. Who picked these names in this league? God dog, they're awful. She had her worst, what can be described as her worst professional.
Let's begin with the first few minutes of the game, when the problems were immediately apparent. Angel Reese, who has been heavily marketed as a future WNBA star, displayed signs of struggle from her very first possession. The first double dribble violation wasn't just a simple mistake. Rather, it was a fundamental one that brought to light deeper issues regarding skill development and game preparation.
8 minutes? 8 minutes? 8 GD minutes? 2 for 6 from the field, and it's good to see that field goal percentage is not getting any better.
The setting of the unmatched league, which isn't the WNBA with its intricate defensive strategies and seasoned players, makes this especially worrisome. This 3-on-1 format is intended to highlight particular talents and set up advantageous situations for offensive players. In theory, this should be a setting where a player of Reese's alleged caliber flourishes, but what we saw was completely different. Consider this professional basketball player who is entirely by themselves during a fast break with no opponents. The fast break scenario that took place early in the game demands special notice. When you're playing at this level, turning down uncontested layups isn't just uncommon, it's unprecedented. Speaking of unprecedented, let's talk about the foul situation. Reese's decision to pass up an open layup wasn't just a poor one. It was a moment that demonstrated a lack of confidence in even the most fundamental basketball skills. 4 fouls in 8 minutes of play is not only bad game management, it's a total breakdown of the fundamentals of basketball in a 3-on-3 format, when defensive duties are actually easier than in a 5-on-5 match. For perspective, Reese was able to commit a foul every 2 minutes. Even WNBA rookies are usually able to play for lengthier periods of time without fouling out.
So while I get maybe September to October, even September to early November, you take a break, you relax, you chill, you get your body right. Of course, if you're injured and all that, that's different. But if you're not, and you're able to work on some skills.
The shooting statistics present a similarly alarming picture. Although 2 made field goals in 6 attempts may not seem like a disaster at first, the caliber of these shots is what raises suspicions. These were mostly open looks produced by teammates in a structure intended to promote favor scoring possibilities. We're not talking about highly contested attempts or end-of-shot clock scenarios. The Rose Basketball Club's performance when Reese was not playing is especially telling. Lexi Hull, who replaced Reese with far less fanfare and media attention, scored an impressive 19 points on 8 of 11 shots. This was more than just a strong performance. It was an example of what fundamentally sound basketball looks like. It appears that Hull was just playing good basic basketball and wasn't attempting to produce viral videos or social media highlights.
Double streak became a me show. The team disintegrated, right? Other talented players on that team got pushed aside, and it was done. One could argue their coach got fired over it.
This leads us to an important observation regarding the state of women's basketball today. Reese has unquestionably developed a sizable fan base and personal brand, but the disconnect between social media popularity and real on-court skill has never been more pronounced. Her performance from last night raises serious concerns over how well her core basketball skills have developed. While defensive responsibilities are simpler in a 3-on-1 format than in traditional basketball, there is more space, fewer players to monitor, and simpler rotations to oversee. Reese found it difficult to maintain proper defensive position without fouling. This isn't just one bad game. It's about fundamental basketball principles that should be second nature at this level.
if those gym videos where she's shooting threes, this and that and the other, are not actually set up and actually directed content.
It is tough to overlook the difference with players like Caitlin Clark, as Clark keeps putting on a full offensive display. Reese's limitations are being revealed more and more as Arsenal shoots from range, allowing others to manage the game. The WNBA commentators who once asserted that Reese was better than Clark are currently having a major problem with their credibility. Reese's attempt to create her own shot off the dribble in the second quarter was a particularly telling moment. The sequence revealed all of her game's shortcomings, including a high dribble that left her open to the defender's poor footwork, which hindered her ability to create separation, and finally, a forced shot that had little chance of going in. These aren't isolated incidents, though. They're fundamental problems that must be fixed if the WNBA is to succeed. When Reese was on the court, the team's offensive flow, or lack thereof, was. A more crucial analysis point. When Reese was in the game, the team's spacing suffered noticeably because she lacked a reliable jump shot to keep opponents honest. She also frequently blocked driving lanes for her teammates, making the offense more predictable and easier to defend. What's even more concerning are the times when Reese had the chance to make simple basketball plays. There were multiple times where a simple pass to an open teammate would have created a better scoring opportunity, but instead we saw forced attempts to create individual highlights. Basketball observers' reactions have been telling, as 1-6 was observed while watching with their father. The lack of fundamental skills was immediately apparent, even to casual observers. This isn't just about basketball skills, it's also about basketball IQ and knowing how to improve your teammates. The team's better performance without Reese wasn't a coincidence, according to another supporter. Returning to fundamental team-oriented basketball has a clear impact, and the numbers from Reese's off-court time tell a significant tale. The team's assist totals increased, their ball movement got better, and above all, their scoring efficiency increased. Looking at the physical aspects of her game, there are concerns about conditioning as well. In just 8 minutes of play, there were obvious signs of fatigue in a 3-on-1 format where rest opportunities are more frequent than in traditional basketball, which raises questions about preparation and a professional approach to the game. This isn't about individual talent, it's about playing winning basketball. When the focus shifted from individual highlights to team success, the results spoke for themselves. Reese's post-play, which is typically regarded as one of her game's strengths, displayed worrying limitations in her attempts to establish position in the post. She had trouble with simple technique and balance against more seasoned protectors. These underlying problems worsen much further. Basketball is ultimately a team game, and individual limitations can have a ripple effect on the performance of the entire unit. What makes this performance especially significant is its timing as the WNBA draft approaches and teams evaluate potential prospects. Positional versatility is crucial in modern basketball, especially at the professional level, and Reese's inability to handle the ball and make decisions in transition led to multiple possessions where her teammates were visibly frustrated when passes were fumbled or defensive rotations were missed. These kinds of games become important data points. This is about foundational talents and basketball intelligence that will carry over to the next level, not about one poor play. When examining the technical skill of top prospects, comparisons to other players in comparable positions become unavoidable. The fundamental skills gap becomes evident. It's about developing basketball abilities that can withstand professional competition, not only about innate talent or athleticism. If you think this analysis is useful, please hit the like button and subscribe for more in-depth basketball analysis. For those who think this is an overly critical evaluation, it's crucial to consider the bigger picture. The response from the basketball community has been particularly interesting. Coaches and scouts watching these games are observing the same problems. Fundamental basketball skills that require significant development before they can translate to the professional level. This isn't about potential anymore. It's about current ability and readiness for professional basketball. Professional basketball requires a certain level of fundamental skills that can't be developed overnight. The habits and limitations we're seeing now are the result of years of development or lack thereof. The effects of yesterday night's performance go far beyond a single game or player. Rather, What we're witnessing is a fundamental change in the way women's basketball talent is assessed and promoted after Lexi Hull filled in and scored 19 points on 8 of 11 shots. It was more than just a strong individual showing. It was a declaration of the value of core basketball skills over social media. Given that social media analytics and viral moments have grown in importance for player marketability, this scenario aptly demonstrates a widening divergence in women's basketball. The core basketball abilities continue to be the foundation of the real on-court product. This discrepancy between perception and reality has unintentionally been revealed by the Unmatched League created to showcase individual talent. Let's examine some scenes from last night's game that illustrate these problems. In the second quarter, Reese got the ball in the post position, which should have been advantageous for a player of her size and purported skill set. However, we witnessed hesitation and eventually a forced pass that resulted in a turnover rather than using standard post moves like a drop step, hook shot, or even a simple power move. These are not merely isolated errors. Rather, they are signs of deeper problems with skill development, and it is impossible to resist comparisons with Caitlin Clark at this point. In stark contrast to what we saw last night, Clark's recent performances have demonstrated not only her ability to score points, but also her thorough understanding of basketball fundamentals, her court vision passing ability, and most importantly, her understanding of when to create for herself versus when to involve teammates. In just 8 minutes of play, we witnessed multiple instances of basic defensive principles being violated, including proper defensive stance, maintaining position without fouling, and understanding help defense. Idea's the impact on team dynamics was especially evident when Reese was on the court. Without a consistent outside shot to keep opponents honest and a propensity to occupy the same areas of the floor as teammates, the offense became stagnant and predictable. These are fundamental skills that should come naturally to players at this level, but instead we witnessed 4 fouls in 8 minutes, effectively eliminating any chance of having a positive impact on the game. This is about comprehending how to play within a team concept, not just about individual skills. The reaction of several WNBA commentators who had earlier hailed Reese as a transforming talent is what makes this scenario even more worrisome.